Your next car might not have an engine. And that's not just some futuristic statement, it's today's reality. The automotive world is changing faster than ever before. And right at the center of this shift, something surprising is happening. The Nissan Leaf, one of the very first mainstream electric cars, is being completely reinvented for 2026. For over a decade, the Nissan Leaf was the quiet workhorse of the EV movement. It wasn't flashy like a Tesla. It wasn't luxurious like a Porsche Taycan. It was practical, humble, even a little boring. But here's what made it historic. It was affordable. It allowed thousands of ordinary people to step into the world of electric driving. And in 2026, Nissan is about to do it again. It's the late 2000s. Gas prices are high. Climate change headlines are everywhere. And electric cars? Well, they're still mostly concepts. The Tesla Roadster had just debuted, but it was a $100,000 toy. Then, in 2010, Nissan shocked the industry by releasing the Leaf, a small, quirky hatchback that promised zero emissions, quiet driving, and a modest price. It didn't have huge range, but it didn't need to. For many people, it was the first real EV they could buy. Fast forward 16 years later, the world has changed. Electric cars are no longer strange. They're everywhere. Tesla is no longer the underdog. Every major brand has at least one EV, and the Leaf. It needs to evolve or be forgotten. It's where the 2026 Nissan Leaf comes in. And this time, Nissan isn't just making an update. They're reinventing it as a completely new vehicle, a compact, crossover SUV, blending affordability, practicality, and modern technology. Let's be real. The biggest barrier to electric cars today isn't technology. It's money. Yes, EVs are getting better. They're faster, more efficient, and packed with tech. But for the average driver, spending $50,000 or $60,000 on a car is out of reach. This is where the new Leaf makes its boldest move. The 2026 Nissan Leaf S Plus trim will start at around $30,000. That makes it one of the cheapest EVs in America, cheaper than a Tesla Model 3, cheaper than a Hyundai Ioniq 6, cheaper than a Mustang Mach-E. Why does this matter? Because price is the tipping point. The moment EVs become truly affordable for the middle class is the moment adoption skyrockets, and Nissan knows this. The Leaf is designed not to impress the elite, but to empower everyday families. One of the biggest criticisms of the original Leaf was its limited range. Early models barely got over 70 miles on a full charge. It was fine for city driving, but for road trips, it was a nightmare. The 2026 Leaf offers up to 303 miles of range on its larger 75 kilowatt battery. Think about that for a second. 300 miles. That's the distance from New York City to Washington, D.C. on a single charge. That's enough to make electric driving realistic, not just for commuting, but for weekend travel too. And this range isn't just about battery size, it's about efficiency. Nissan has been refining its electric powertrains for over a decade, and the new Leaf benefits from all that hard-earned knowledge. So while it might not break records like a Lucid Air, it strikes the perfect balance. Affordable price, respectable range, and real-world usability. But range is only half the battle. The other half, charging. In the past, Leaf owners were limited by slow CHAdeMO, charging ports, a system that was outdated, limited, and frustrating. It often left Leaf drivers locked out of newer, faster charging networks. That's why the 2026 Leaf is making a huge leap. For the first time, it comes equipped with Tesla's NACS charging port. What does that mean? Simple. Leaf drivers will be able to plug into Tesla superchargers across the US and Canada. And that changes everything. Suddenly, the Leaf isn't just a city car, it's a nationwide car. You could drive from Los Angeles to Seattle, or from Chicago to Miami, with confidence that charging will be quick and convenient. This single move, the switch to NAC, might be the smartest decision Nissan has made in years. The original Leaf had a look you either loved or hated. Big bug-eyed headlights, a strange rounded shape. It looked futuristic at the time, but it aged quickly. The 2026 Leaf fixes this with a sleek crossover design. Picture bold lines, a strong stance, and a body that looks more athletic and modern. It's no longer just a little electric hatchback. It's a confident, compact SUV. Inside, things get even more impressive. The cabin features a Google-based infotainment system, giving you smooth integration with Google Maps, Google Assistant, and the Play Store. There's also a 360-degree camera system for parking in tight spaces, plus a panoramic, electronically dimming roof, a feature usually found in luxury vehicles. It's now brought down to an affordable EV. Nissan isn't just reinventing the Leaf's function, it's reinventing its personality. Beyond style, Nissan is loading the Leaf with technology designed to make driving easier and safer. You'll get advanced driver assistance features, things like lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, and collision prevention. These aren't gimmicks anymore. They're standard expectations for modern cars. But what makes Nissan interesting is how they've positioned the Leaf. Instead of overwhelming you with tech, they've kept the interface simple and user-friendly. You don't need to be a software engineer to figure it out. That's important, because the Leaf isn't being built for enthusiasts or early adopters, ES being built for the masses. So where does this car stand against its rivals? Well, Tesla's Model 3 is faster and flashier. Hyundai's Ioniq 6 is sleeker. Chevrolet's upcoming Equinox EV is another affordable option. But the Leaf has one card they don't: history. It has brand trust. It was the first EV for millions of drivers worldwide. In 2026, it's leveraging that trust to become the people's EV once again. Now let's zoom out. Why does this matter? Why should we care about another car launch in an industry that announces something new every week? Here's the truth. Electric cars aren't just about transportation. They're about freedom. Freedom from gas stations. Freedom from volatile fuel prices. Freedom from emissions. But freedom only matters if it's accessible. If only the wealthy can afford electric cars, then the revolution isn't complete. The 2026 Nissan Leaf is a reminder that the future of mobility isn't supposed to be exclusive, it's supposed to be shared. And maybe, just maybe, this car is the one that will finally tip the scales. So as we look at the new Leaf, we're left with a question. When the history books are written, will the 2026 Leaf be remembered as the car that brought EVs to the masses? Or will it be overshadowed by flashier, faster rivals? That's not something Nissan can answer. That's something only drivers, you and I, will decide. Because at the end of the day, the future of electric cars isn't about the technology. It's about us. The choices we make, the roads we take. And maybe, just maybe, the next road you take will be silent, smooth, and electric.